they came to pass, and then what's been happening to Pornhub explains. Now identical bills to that Louisiana one have passed in 6 other states: Arkansas, Montana, Mississippi, Utah, Virginia, and Texas. So not just super deep red states. Montana is a Democratic senator. Obviously, Virginia, I would argue, is blue, even though it has a Republican governor right now. And others are pretty conservative there. But these are bills that are passing with pretty big margins, despite being fought bitterly by the pornography industry, which is a huge industry right now. The online pornography industry, absolutely massive, big business at this point.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Well, I've given you this warning before. I've said this and I'll keep saying this. Age verification will not work. This is an attack on our Constitution. They're using this to attack the Constitution. They're looking this to enact other laws that basically will violate your Constitution. They're just using porn as the red herring or the villain in this. That, basically it's not the villain, but they're going to use that to scare you into voting for what they want to do. And from the Virginia point of view, we've just found out, guess what? That's what they were doing. They were trading off age verification votes so they can push a different bill into policy.
Yeah.
And that's nothing but pure and simple old-fashioned communism. Happens every time one of those dancers start poontanging around.
Let's get really into this. Gustav Turner puts out another article on XBiz. I do encourage you to go check it out. Yes, it is an adult site. It is a porn news site, but there are a lot of great articles in there. So let's start off. Virginia Democrats admit to trading off the age verification votes for an unrelated bill. A Democratic Virginia state senator has admitted that he and Republican senators understand, as I said before, this is a left and a right issue. This is coming from both sides of the aisle. Use the issue of age verification for adult material as a bargaining chip to negotiate the language of an unrelated piece of legislation. According to the report published Monday by the Washington Post, Senator Scott Sorrell boasted about persuading Republicans to remove the word homosexuality from a bill defending sexual conduct in Virginia in exchange for providing Democratic support for the controversial age verification bill introduced by religious conservative Senator Bill Stanley Jr. The Virginia bill was signed into law by Governor Glenn Youngkin in May and went into effect July 1st, the same day that similar bill went into effect in Mississippi. Virginia's law was passed with bipartisan support, which became a bragging point for religious conservatives. It appears, however, that the Democrats did not support the measure out of conviction or agreement with the Republican allegations of a public health crisis around pornography. Instead, according to Sorrell, removing one word from an unrelated bill was more determined consideration for the Democratic legislators than whether the vaguely worded verification measure would infringe on Virginia's First Amendment rights or embroil the states in costly litigation. And it's already happening. The Free Speech Coalition is beginning to sue. They are coming across in multiple states, including Virginia will be one of them. I said to Senator Stanley, if you would like to pass your bill, you need to make the definition of sexual conduct not include homosexuality. Sovell told the Post. So basically, I stuck it in my bill, into his bill. This is sort of a belt and suspenders thing, and he was willing to do that if I meant I was going to put meat on his bill and kill it. Belt and suspenders is apparently a colloquial phrase used by money lenders to describe overlapping layers of risk mitigation, like using two redundant methods for holding up one's pants. Stanley recently defended his controversial, vaguely worded mandate by claiming that the adult sites are harmful in the sense of body shaming issues, developing proper relationship, and what is normal. What are on these websites are not normal, Stanley declared. See, here's the thing. Here is the thing where Stanley is completely wrong. He says body shaming issues. Now, those of you who have been on an adult site or have seen pornography and all that, you know the different levels of actors and actresses that are in the industry. You have everyone from very thin to very heavy. You know, they think that basically when they hear pornography, oh, it's all these sexy model type women with large breasts, big butts, and stuff like that. There are varied body shapes and sizes. And one thing about the porn industry is very diverse. Understand that. It is very diverse when it comes to it. Even trans are in the porn industry. So you cannot say they're body shaming or they're very racial. So no, we have black, white, Asian. We have very skinny. We have very, very skinny. We have small breasts, large breasts, big butts, small butts, large, as you would say, men's parts. The member. You got small, large. It's you can't sit there and say that there's body shaming going on. You can't say that when you have this much. I mean, this is what they want for Hollywood. They want all shapes and sizes in the music industry. You know, they push Lizzo and all this. But the thing about it is, the porn industry has been doing it for years. Very quietly. You know, just regularly out there. Because they know that, hey, listen, everybody got their own vice. Let's continue reading on here. As experts reported, Democrats have been quietly supporting state-based campaigns to enact age verification, which religious conservative activists have admitted are an incremental strategy for achieving the ultimate goal of outlawing all sexual expression online by restarting the obscenity prosecutions at the federal level. Yes, they are going after the Miller's test. That's right. They want to get rid of the Miller's test. If they get rid of the Miller's test, we're going to go back to pre-1970s situations where even comedy can cause you to go to jail. You can say that for what happened with George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, and many other people in the industry, whether they're a comedian in the porn industry, that have seen inside of a jail cell for putting out their own freedom of speech, that they weren't able to practice their freedom of speech. And this is what keeps going on. And people don't think this in their head, is that eliminate the Miller's test, you eliminate basically your freedom of speech. Until Sorville's candid admission to the Washington Post, political observers have suspected that only Democrats from purple districts were supporting the Republican state-by-state age verification campaigns out of fear that they will be characterized as pro-porn by conservative opponents. In May, Texas Democrats overwhelmingly backed local Republicans' version of an age verification law, while its language was similar to laws in Louisiana, Utah, Virginia, and Arkansas. The Texas law went further by compelling adult websites accessible in the state to post pseudo-scientific statements derived from anti-porn propaganda in the form of 3 Texas Health and Human Service warnings. And see, the thing about it is, a lot of these warnings are not factually true. These are not backed. These are just people saying, well, we've done the research and this is what happens. But there's been tons of other research, papers that have come out that have told them they are incorrect. Those warnings read: pornographically is potentially biologically addictive, is proven to the harm of the human brain development, desensitized brain reward circuits, increases condition responses, and weakens brain function. This is the same thing they said about video games. This is the same exact rhetoric that they try to throw on video games and music and action films. This is what they keep doing. These are the same politicians that keep revolving these same arguments, which they have no basis to try to push new rules, new law policies, to basically, in effect, to take control. Exposure to this content is associated with low self-esteem and body image, eating disorders, impaired brain development, and other emotional and mental illnesses. And pornography increases the demand for prostitution, child exploitation, and child pornography. No, it doesn't. What has happened with child exploitation and pornography? You have to understand the one thing. When they talk about child exploitation, you have companies in this country right now, factories that have hired illegal children that have come across illegally with their parents or supposed parents, and are being hired to clean up factory floors, which is against our labor laws in the United States. And you see some states, and we've discussed it before, some states are trying to change those laws. Now, as far as child pornography is illegal. The porn industry wants nothing to do with it. You're always going to get someone that's going to try to push this out. And you have to remember, most of this child pornography is not that it's online. It's being given over hand over fist. In other words, sneaked across on USB thumb drives, on DVDs, portable hard drives. This is not something it's relatively out there, right in everybody's face. Because why would you be looking for it? If you're looking for it, why would you be looking for it directly? Exhibit repeatedly and unsuccessfully attempted to contact several Texas Democratic Party communication officers to inquire about their support for this apparent instead of compelling speech. Free Speech Coalition filed a lawsuit seeking to halt the Texas law. The Virginian definition that Sorville and the Democrats traded for their support, age verification, is used in a number of laws, including the law that requires schools to inform parents of sexually explicit materials used in classrooms, the Washington Post reported. Now, that is important in that portion on there. If you're talking about child pornography and child exploitation, you have sexually explicit materials used in the classrooms, and we're not talking teenagers. We're talking children in grade school. And they said, well, that's wrong because that basically would be book banning. No. If you want to buy that book, the books that they've talked to many times, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes & Noble and purchase them. They're not banned. You can get them. They are available if you wish to read them. But for your child to have them in school would be wrong. Governor Youngkin last summer enacted a measure requiring the Virginia Department of Education to publish guidance for how sexually explicit material should be handled and how parents should be informed about it so they could opt out of their children's learning it, the Post explained. The guidelines reference the state's code definition of sexual conduct as an actual or explicit stimulation acts of masturbation, homosexuality, sexual intercourse, or physical contact in an act of apparent sexual stimulation or gratification with a person's clothed or unclothed genitalia, public area, buttocks, or such be female breast. That should not be discussed at school. It's biology that you discuss certain things about sex, certain things about the anatomy of men and women. When it comes to sex itself, stimulation, gratification, that should be discussed within the parents. It has nothing to do with government, has nothing to do with the schools themselves. Schools should just teach biology as it always has been. I had biology when I was in high school. I got it in my second year of high school. We had no major problems with that. Speaking for the Post last week, Sorvel attempted to justify trading Democratic votes in support of a Republican culture wars initiative by insisting that in amending the unrelated bill, he was combating the anarchic and prejudiced view as to what homosexuality is. A day before the new law went into effect, Pornhub was advised by its lawyers to fully block its websites in the Commonwealth. We are sorry to let our loyal visitors in these states down, but we have opted to comply with the newly effective law in this way because it's ineffective and worse, and will put both users' privacy and children at risk. And that is correct. Right now, you have everybody putting in VPNs. I mean, I get one now off of my Bitdefender, and I use it every once in a while. And I guess more and more people are going to start using VPN. I know X-Hamster, as of late, I haven't checked it recently, is I think the hardest one to get on. That it is asking for full age verification. The VPN so far in the US is not working on that. I haven't tried outside the US, but you know, X-Hamster has bent the knee to the whole situation, or this might be an error and they don't realize it. Because you know, you have situations on here. This is not, and we've shown you the proof, this is not going to stop with pornography. Why haven't they gone after Twitter? Why haven't they gone after Instagram or Facebook or TikTok? Could you answer that for me? Because that is where most minors are getting their pornography from. That's right. I mean, even on X, getting used to calling Twitter X, even on X, there is a lot of pornography. A lot of porn stars on there. A lot of these guys that, whether they're male or female, from the front, that have put themselves to say, well, we're championing to protect the children. But these guys in the background, and I can't say which ones on that, are probably watching it as well. It's like that old joke, was it Porky's 2 or Porky's 3, where they had the religious right trying to shut down a particular play because they said, oh, it's sexual and stuff like that. But meanwhile, they're in the courthouse watching porn movies. Even though it's a comedic movie, but think of that perspective, that you know there are politicians out there that do watch pornography, and it's on a constant basis. But yet they'll trade in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom, just to gain votes. This is where we're at right now. This is it. I told you, and I said this before, 2023 was going to be a bad year. And this is a total attack on the Constitution. Not only freedom of speech, we've had it straight across the board on pretty much almost every amendment. We've seen the press being attacked. There's a story we're working on from another state where basically they were writing a story. They had not put the story out. And this is a small newspaper. This is a very small newspaper. One of these small town newspapers. The police went in and raided the place because they said that the reporters had stole identity. They were doing identity theft. Because of the attack, they went to the owner's house. She was 98 years old. This woman was 98 years old, was one of the founders of this paper. Because of this situation, she passed away. She had a heart attack or something of that nature. Like I said, we're working on the story. And this is the attack that they were trying to do on this newspaper. And then at least more than several dozen attacks to the media, including Project Veritas, which was attacked by the government, that James O'Keefe was attacked in his own home by federal authorities looking for this diary of Biden's daughter and violating freedom of press. You had several organizations that had condemned the situation. But these are the things that has been going on the last couple of years. And it's been very strong this particular year. You know, I tell you, free, comment below on your thoughts on this. Because it is important. Pass this on. I mean, really, pass this video on. Pass the article on. Because people don't really understand. I still get situations on BitChute where people said that porn is immoral and this and that. I understand that. I'm not telling you to watch it. There's a saying, I might not agree with what you say, but I will fight to defend it. But who am I to say about this but a man with a show? Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to share this video. Hit the like, notification bell, and hopefully maybe today's the day I've earned your subscription. Once again, we are on vacation. We'll be back in September with some great content for you. New episodes of Man with the Show, Fast 5, and also the return of Man Cafe exclusively on Rumble. And also, if you want to help support a content creator like me, there are two ways to do it. Below is listing in our description. You can make a fast one-time donation, even for a cup of coffee. It would greatly be appreciated. It's listed below. And also, we do have a merch shop, which this month for back to school, we'll be offering an additional 10% off. Be sure to use our promo code of summer 10 and get an additional 10% off your next purchase. Thank you for clicking on this video. We'll see you on the next one. And don't forget, support your local content creator.